Hello and a warm welcome to Mom I Love, and I am your friend Shubhoshri. Today I have come up with a very important video which is related to how to effectively teach your child at home. So especially if you are homeschooling your child, this video will be really helpful for you. So today in this video, we are going to discuss 12 essential tips for homeschooling parents. Actually, I have gathered this knowledge from my own experience with my child, and I could figure out that these are the problems I'm dealing with and these are the solutions which I can provide. So this video will not only be about explaining that what problems you can face, but it will also give you the solutions of how you can deal with these issues. So before I give it a start, I would request you to subscribe to my channel, because every week I come up with videos related to early childhood education, parenting and a lot more. Before we start teaching a kid, we have to analyze as parents or as caregivers that what is our target. So we have to set a motto of our teaching and then we must proceed in that path. So according to me, there are three main important mottos when I am teaching my child. First is I have to teach in an interesting manner so that my child gets interest to study. Second is my teaching process should be effective. That means that whatever I am teaching, my child should be able to grasp it as early as possible. The third is my child has to be attentive while I am teaching him or her. With this, I will also include that every child has a different mental setup. So we have to actually understand the psychology of our own child. So we have to understand the psychology. We have to understand that in what way we can mold that child, or in what way what is the best way to teach my child. So first we will focus on the problem areas, that what are the problems which we parents mostly face while homeschooling our kids. First is inattentiveness. Second is unwillingness to study. Third is lack of interest. The fourth point is zero outcome. So now I will be talking about the 12 points which I have jotted down according to my experience, and these are going to be really helpful. So stick on to this video till the end. So first one is for younger kids, especially start reading storybooks as early as possible. So that means even if your child is if you are watching this video and your child is just 6 months old, don't think that it is too early to start reading to your child. Always start reading at a very early age. Even if your child is 6 months, never think that am I looking like a fool reading to a 6 months old. But do we think like that when we talk to a 6 months old? No, right? We always talk many things to our child when they are 6 months or 4 months old, or from the time they are born. We never think that why should we talk to them because they don't understand anything. In the same way, you have to start reading. You start reading in front of your child. Read them bedtime stories as early as possible. It can be from 6 months or 8 months or 1 year. So wherever, even if you are in a later stage of your parenting, maybe your child is 4 or 5 years old and today you are watching this video, I would request you that start from today. It is never too late, so you can start wherever you are. The second tip is make a time routine for studying. It is very important. I have seen that previously, I never had a written timetable for my child, and I thought that she is very young. She is a preschooler, she is a kindergartner. So does she really need a written time schedule for her study time? But over the time I have seen it is very helpful even for parents or the caregivers who are teaching them at home, because when you have a written timetable, it is clear to you, it is clear to your child that this is time for me to study. And in your time schedule, you also write down that what are the subjects you are going to practice on a particular day. So for grown-up kids, as we have timetables written, you should have the same thing for your younger kids as well. So this gives a clarity to you and your child, and you never have to spend even minutes and hours on thinking that what should we read and when should we study. The third point is very important, that is keep your patience as a teacher, as a mother, as a caregiver, and do not ever shout on your child. It happens very often that we keep shouting on our kids when they are not being able to understand something or process something. But when we shout, even I do that sometime, but when we shout on them during studies, their brain gets shuttered. even whatever they could process, they are not being able to perform 100% at that point of time. So we have to keep our patience. If your child doesn't understand, you have to keep your patience and repeat the thing, but shouting cannot be the solution. So be patient and do not shout at all, especially during the study time. Number 4th point is again for younger kids, that is start teaching with objects that interest them. So with younger kids, what happened that they really do not understand the concept of pen and paper. So mostly they are interested in objects, colorful objects like their toys, which can be Legos or color pencils or some other cars and dolls and such kind of things, or balls. So what you can do is you can start teaching them through play. So how would you do that? You have to use the objects which are close to them, which they love to play with. So with those objects you can make them count, just help them build a tower, or you can also teach alphabets and numbers with the help of such toys. So for younger kids, always start with objects which interest them rather than using pen and paper. Number 5th point is also very essential, that is before you start teaching your child, make sure that your child is not hungry, neither sleepy. So these things irritate a child, and when they are about to sit with their studies, sometimes they fall asleep, or sometimes they feel hungry or thirsty, or they have an urge to use the toilet and all these things. So make sure that these distractions are not there while you have planned your study routine or timetable. Number 6th point, the toughest subject, teach that on a fresh mind. Always teach the difficult subject with a fresh mind. Don't do that. Don't teach that subject at the end of the day, because by that time their brain is already tired and they are not being able to receive and process the information you are sending to them. Number 7th point is crucial, because that is the only way of success, that is repeat. Okay, repeat whatever you are doing. If you remember, I have told you in the 3rd point that keep your patience. With conquering to that, I would also say that repeat. Keep your patience and repeat what you have taught. Repetition for kids is the only way that they will remember things. So repeat and repeat. If you think that today you have taught your child a lesson and tomorrow they will be happily be able to, they will successfully be able to solve those problems or, solve those answers, that is not possible, especially with younger kids. So you have to keep repeating a chapter, you have to put different varieties of that sum or of that. For example, I'm teaching noun to my child. So I teach noun on the first day, and second day I think that she would answer everything correctly. That is not going to happen. So maybe I have to change the pattern of the question. I have to put different examples in front of her for minimum 10 to 15 days in a stretch. Then I have to analyze that how she has developed her skills. So this is the way. Even if your child is taking a month time to understand or acknowledge a new chapter or a new learning, you must give that time to your child, and you would see that they will excel. They would really excel. But if you don't keep your patience, and if you think that on the next day only they will be able to do everything correctly, that is never going to happen. Number 8 point is don't keep your expectations high. So mostly what happens is we start comparing our kids with other kids, and we always keep our expectations high that you have to be the first one in the class, you have to solve, you have to get 10 upon 10. So our expectation must not be this high. We should encourage our kids to study well and to achieve good grades and marks, but that doesn't mean that they will be under pressure. They would be pressurized to be the first one. First will be only one. You only have to insist on your child that you have to be attentive in your studies. You have to give your best. That's it. After that, whatever happens, we will see to it. Because when you keep your child under a mental pressure, they are not even being able to perform 100%. They won't be able to give their 100% to achieve the best result they can do. So the 9th point is be slow and steady, and daily practice your exercise. So that is very important, as you cannot teach 4 or 5 or 2 chapters even in one day, and you cannot expect them to learn so fast. You have to keep your pace slow, and you have to keep repeating what you are teaching them. And at the end of the day or at the end of the month, you have to assess what your child has learned and how you can proceed from there. Number 10th point, which is important, as you have seen that kids, younger kids, they really lose interest in one subject while you are teaching them for long. So for example, you are teaching maths to your child, and you would see that after 10 minutes, while they are not being able to understand that thing, and you are constantly preaching that this is like this, 2 plus 2 makes 4, they are not understanding, and after repeating the same thing for 10 minutes, they are losing interest into that. It happens to every child, there is no exception to it. So here is one thing which you can do. You must not continue anything for more than 10 minutes. So if you think that you are explaining and your child is not being able to grasp it, change the subject or change the topic or go to a next chapter, or it is better to move to a next subject. Or to you can also tell them interesting facts about those things and all. So this will generate interest in your child again, and then it will again help your child focus into the particular subject for the next time. So do not repeat something for more than 10 minutes. That will block your child's mind and they won't be able to understand it. So leave it for the day, try it again on the next day. Number 11, mood. It is very important that your child has a set mood to study. So as we know that children, they really lose interest in studying even while they are sitting there to study. What you can do is you can include interesting facts and figures about something which you are teaching them. It can be a fun fact, it could be some interesting facts about a bird or an animal or whatever you are teaching them. Or even outside their book, you can say them some interesting stories which generate interest. So in this way, you can keep up your child's interest in the subject. The last point, which is the 12th point. So it is end with a positive note. So for example, today you have started, like your time routine is you will be sitting with your child for study for 2 times a day, once in the morning, once in the evening. So evening, whatever you are teaching at the end, that should end in a happy note. That means that whatever you are teaching at the end should be that should be a little easier. Your child should be able to perform that. So in that way, you build a positive confidence inside your child, and they would be ending the day or the study happily for the day. How that will help? Your child will be very happy and enthusiastic about learning about it, even on the corresponding day or the next day. So your child will have a confidence that I could do that, I could achieve that for the day. Yes, I have done this, first thing. Second, they would have that confidence that I can do it. Third is they will take interest in it more. For example, today if you cannot do something, you failed to achieve some result, you would be demotivated tomorrow, and that is our psychology. So don't demotivate your child. Whatever difficult things you have to teach them during the other sessions in the day, even in the first half of the last session. But while you are about to end, like last 15 minutes or 20 minutes or half an hour, give them some easy lessons to do which is achievable by your child. So these are the 12 essential points for homeschooling your child. These are effective tips by the help of which you can teach effectively at home. So if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment in the comment section below. See you in my next video. Till then, bye bye.